So how difficult is it to flip a property? Stay tuned, let's find out. So if you're new here, hit subscribe. I come out with new content, new videos all the time. Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate Finder channel. Let's begin. So the question is, how difficult is it to flip a property? Well, for someone like me, not difficult at all. It's pretty easy. It's what I do. I've done it for years. But if you're new to real estate, it can be very difficult. The most important thing to remember if you want to get into real estate and be a property flipper, you make your money when you buy the property. Buying a property right will dictate everything that happens later on in the deal. If you pay too much or if you make a mistake in the purchase, it can be very difficult to flip a property. You have to buy a property right in order to make money later when you flip it. If you paid too much at the beginning, you can't just add more to the purchase price at the end to make it up. If you buy a property wrong, it will haunt you the entire process. If you buy a property right, it will set you up for success and to make a lot of money when you're flipping. So let's start with you own property that you want to sell. However you got it, whether you inherited it, whether you bought it, whether you found it, you own property that you want to sell. You have to remember that the contract price is not what you're going to put in your pocket at the end of the day. Also, the asking price, what you put on the MLS or what you say you want for the property, might be higher than the contract price. But then the contract price minus real estate fees, taxes, lawyers, insurance, document stamps, there's a lot of fees that could eat up your equity. If you buy a property for $800,000 and sell it for $900,000, you may not make any money because that $100,000 can quickly be eaten up by fees and expenses. It's also important to have a very good tax advisor because the tax implications of flipping properties can be complicated. We have a rule in this country with capital gains if you held a property for more or less than 1 year. So you got to be careful. If you have a property and by the time you bought it and got it ready for market and it's been 10 or 11 months since you bought it, you may want to decide to hold it a little while longer to make it a long-term capital gain instead of a short-term capital gain. So you really want to work hand in hand with a lot of professionals, including a tax professional, if you're thinking about making money by flipping property. I hate to burst your bubble. It's not as easy as the TV shows. You come in, you buy a property, you're like, oh, I can fix it, I like to decorate. Sometimes there's a lot more that needs to be done to the property. There's a reason why. If you got such a deal on that property, nothing makes you special. There's a reason you got the deal. Maybe there's bad air conditioning, maybe there's polybutylene pipes. And if you don't know what polybutylene pipes are, you will when you decide to become a real estate flipper. So if you've decided to take the step and become a property flipper, the very first thing you need to do is buy a piece of real estate. You can't flip a piece of real estate if you don't have a piece of real estate to flip in the first place. So when you buy real estate, you want to find someone like me, a professional, one of my agents that could help you identify the type of real estate that you want to buy and flip and figure out what value you could bring to the table. Are you very handy? You can take a fixer-upper, make it nicer. Are you a good decorator? You can take a property that's a little stale because it's not decorated very well, buy it, decorate it nicely, put it back on the market, and figure out where you could add value. If you're not adding value, you're not going to be able to flip the property. You know, I started by saying you have to have a piece of property in order to flip a piece of property. It's actually not true. There is a way to be a property flipper without even owning a piece of real estate. Very sophisticated investors, the we buy ugly houses people, what they'll do is they'll make an offer on your house, go to contract, but before they close, they'll find a buyer at a higher price that they'll assign the contract to. So they don't even actually have a piece of property, they're just under contract to buy a property, and when they find a buyer to buy it for more money, they assign the contract. And if they can't do that during the terms of the contract, a lot of times they'll breach the contract and they won't even buy the house. We do not do that here at Real Estate Finder. That is not a practice that I recommend. I don't like it, but I know a lot of people that make a lot of money doing this. So if you want to learn how, I can introduce you to the right people. There are a lot of properties that you can buy. There's lots of different ways to buy property. You could buy property that's listed for sale, usually in the MLS. You could buy off-market properties. There are ways of finding distressed properties in pre-foreclosure. And a very common way to do it is to go to a foreclosure sale or a tax deed sale. This is really reserved for sophisticated investors. People say, should I buy a foreclosure? It's not for everyone. A lot of mistakes can be made, but if you are a sophisticated investor or have really good advisors, that is another way to acquire property that you intend to flip for more money. And now that you own a piece of property and added value, whether you fixed it up or decorated it nicely or did something to add value, now you want to sell the property. That's when you give me a call, give one of my agents a call. We'll market the property. We'll get you the best price for your property. You'll sell the property, make some money. We could give some tax advice or point you to the right people that could take that investment, roll it over into your next investment. So you can make a lot of money flipping property, but it's not for everyone. It's a lot of work, and it is a job. There are people who do this for a living. They're professionals. They have the skills needed to flip property and to make money flipping property. And sometimes you lose money on some of these deals. You got to be prepared for that. So if this video is helpful to you, hit like, hit subscribe, hit me up in the comments. Like I mentioned before, I'm a real person. I'm not an AI. A lot of people think that these videos are computer programs, that I program this and go off and play golf while these robots are making videos for me. No, this is me making videos for you to educate you. If you like them, hit like, hit subscribe, ask questions in the comments. A lot of my next video subjects are from questions I get in the comments. And if you'd like to buy or sell real estate, that's what I'm here for. That is the purpose. That is why I'm doing all this. Please hit us up at Signature Real Estate, realestatefinder.com, and phone number is 561-208-3334. I don't even know who uses the phone anymore, but we do have people standing by answering the phone. Thank you so much for joining us on the channel. Check us out on YouTube and TikTok and all the different places where I could have this computer virus spread around, and we will see you soon on the Real Estate Finder Network.